Okay, so first off, welcome to the channel. Going to be talking about Ghostbox's ITC paranormal investigation kind of sessions with different boxes and how I've used them. I've been working with Ghostboxes for almost a decade, maybe a bit over. Also made quite a few different boxes in that time as well. So any enthusiasts, paranormal enthusiasts, or ghost hunting groups, or people just generally want to have a bit of interest or want to know how to use them and what they're all about, then you're probably in the right place. So before we start, usual YouTube stuff. If you want to give it a like and a subscribe to the channel, it'd be more than appreciated. And we're going to start off by talking about basically what is a ghost box. So the definition of a ghost box, also known maybe as spirit box or a Frank's box, is a device used by paranormal investigators to communicate with entities or spirits from beyond the grave or wherever they reside. It's believed to pick up activity, to hear the messages if we ask questions in our sessions, or you're at a paranormal event, or I don't know, like you see on the TV shows, if you're at haunted locations, potentially haunted locations, or just in general you're trying to ask questions, is what I usually mainly use them for. Basically just ask questions and see if there's any responses come back. So the history of the ghost box itself can be traced back to Thomas Edison, who experimented with different forms of spirit communication. In modern ghost box circles, it was probably Frank Sumpton who popularized the modern ghost box in the early 2000s. These devices, not these devices, but similar devices you see on the paranormal YouTube channels and different places on TV, where they might be using a similar ghost box device in their investigations. So the mechanics of the ghost box itself, different variations, and how it operates is it scans radio frequencies, typically modified AM or FM radios, and instead of tuning to a specific station, such as you would with a normal radio, when you scan through, it'll stop on a strong frequency radio station and just stay there. You save it or you move along to the next one. Instead of tuning into a specific station, it rapidly goes through all the different frequencies, and as it scans through, it creates a constant stream of noise. Now if you think similar to, if you've ever seen Bumblebee on Transformers, his communication, because of a damaged voice box, without going into the story of it, he uses different snippets of different frequencies from different radio broadcasts or adverts or whatever he can pick up, kind of thing, and that's how his communication forms full sentences. So he might use a word off one broadcast, he might use a sentence, he might use a specific quote from a film or something like that. Very similar in how a ghost box is listened to. Within the white noise, within the broadcast, when I've recorded the sessions and gone back over them, you will hear a slight difference when you get used to it, where you will get disjointed, disembodied voice in the form of an EVP. I've had things that just weren't to do with the radio, because honestly certain words that come out of these things do not go on to broadcast radio at all. So with the censorship, especially in the UK, it's just not done. So when you pick up these voices, EVPs, you can pretty much say that that's a solid hit on your session. So the audio output of these ghost boxes from the scanning the frequencies come through the speaker. Some radios have speakers, some radios don't have the speakers, and you can listen to the, how can I say, you can, I run ghost boxes through different things, so I don't necessarily run, I've got one radio that I run through things like guitar pedals. I know that became popular quite a while back. Audio effects pedals, echoes, that kind of thing, and it adds to the chaotic sound and can sometimes help in different sessions. Some people hear things different ways. Off the top of my head, there's a thing that was, I can't remember exactly what it was. It was something like green box and red something or other, and if I said green box, you would hear the word green box. It was a very sort of like alien roboty kind of sound.
You will only hear the word you are reading.
People will pick up on different things, so when you do these sessions, I find it easier to video record them rather than audio record them. I don't know why it is, but I mean, I've always found it easier with video. Plus, as I've gone along with ghost boxes, I've also had an increase in orb activity as well. You might not believe in orbs, you might just think they're flicks of dust or whatever. Orbs I'll get to later on, but basically orbs have a very specific flight pattern. Dust will blow with the airflow around it. Orbs tend to have a very strange flight pattern where they'll move and then stop and then change course and go again and then fade out and then come back. The more you go into it, you'll understand the difference in light and orbs and stuff like that. Anyway, ghost boxes themselves have been highly controversial in the paranormal community for quite a while. Skeptics say that the voices are just basically the audio pareidolia, psychological phenomena. Brain interprets random noise into meaningful sounds. It could also be sentences from broadcasts that you hear. If you do a session and you talk about, well, at the moment we've got a lot of different wars going on, so radio broadcasts will be reporting on wars. So if you do a session that has tell me about the war or what's going on with the war or something like that, inevitably you will hear things in the radio broadcasts that will say war. Now if you go to a paranormal investigation, a location, and there's a specific person or place or feature or something specific to that location that comes up on these boxes responses, then that again is another hit, another way of validating what is heard on the different devices. So each ghost box, there's plenty of different ghost boxes available. I've got quite a lot of different ghost boxes that I've collected over the time and made quite a few of them. I haven't got a Frank's box because they're rare as rocking horse and very hard to get hold of. I would really like to get hold of one to hear it in person, but that's not going to happen. So there's lots of different ghost boxes. There's the Frank's box. You might have seen Frank customizes boxes with drawings of sort of Aztec imagery. It's not Aztec, but it's He was known as the Purple Princess. I won't go into the whole story about Frank, but if you ever look at Frank Sumter's work, if you ever read up on Frank, there's a book out that he's got, or his family came out with. It's here, Thinking Outside the Box. That's a good book to get hold of. Doesn't go into everything, but it is a good book about Frank and a bit of backstory about the guy and how he created the box and what he was using the boxes for. So there's Frank's boxes. There's things like the Hack Shack, which is Hack Shack is Radio Shack radios. They come in the small handhelds like these. They come in medium-sized desktop radios, bigger radios, and then I can't remember off the top of my head, but they've got sort of like the digits after it, the 150 or the whatever they are, different sizes. They all do the same kind of thing. With the Hack Shacks, you basically modified the mute function on it, which, as you scan through the channels, when you scan, it usually goes silent and then hits a frequency and then opens up. With the Hack Shacks, you cut the mute trace or you bypass the wiring on it, and when you were scanning through the radio stations, you could hear all of the frequencies through all the different channels, which is what the SB7 does. And then there's a bigger version of the SB7, which is basically a dual version of that, which one goes forward scanning, one goes reverse scanning, the SB11. So again, they all scan. These Radio Shacks only scan at one rate. The SB7 and the SB11, you can have them at very fast scanning speeds or very slow scanning speeds. There's other modified radios out there. There's Kobe COS radios that I've used in the past, and they have worked the same as the Radio Shacks, where you bypass the mute, open the channel up. The Kobe was really fast scanning. The COS was slower scanning. It depends upon your preference on what kind of audio you want to listen to. Some people find it very harsh, some people find it fine. Bit of a Goldilocks thing. You have to find the kind of box that's right for you. So each box has its own features, kind of thing. What I like to do is I've used the Ghostboxes, I've used the Hack Shacks for quite a while. I tend to connect these up to controllers, pedal audio adapters, and manipulate the audio through it. I'll run it through an echo, and what I've found is that the harshness of the sweeping through the scanning of the radio tends to disperse out when you use more echo or a reverb. Simple as connecting it up to a guitar amplifier that has echo or reverb on it, or you can get the pedal units, the Korg or different music audio, just standalone guitar pedals that give space age weird tones and pitches and all kinds of stuff with them. So that's a bit about the different Ghostboxes. This Ghostbox, yeah, so these Ghostboxes will do the scanning. This Ghostbox is a custom made that has echo and pitch feature on it. You can change the echo to less echo and it goes back to like a normal radio sound, or you can turn it up full echo, and that's the kind of thing that you might find on if you've ever seen the paranormal shows with the things like that. I think it was called a geobox. Very ghostly, very haunting, very long echo reverb sound to it. So that kind of thing is that, and also this custom one that I made, that's also got echo in it. Echo dial on the side for more and less echo. I'll show videos of these working as well at some point. So when you're using the Ghostboxes, you always have to do your sessions, your paranormal sessions, your ITC sessions, which is instrumental trance communication, which is more of what I do. I don't tend to go out and search for these haunted paranormal locations, although as cheesy as it is, some of my best audio has turned up from EVP. I've done Ghostbox sessions in cemeteries and not picked up much on the box, but when I've recorded the video on it and played it back later, EVP has been absolutely fantastic. So it's a case of personal preference and going to different locations, testing them out and recording your sessions. When you record the sessions, whether it's spirit communication or whatever this is, what we're doing, always be respectful and be mindful of any potential consequences that may ensue. I personally don't know what is happening, who we're communicating with. This is what we're doing these questioning and responses for. You may not get full answers. You may not find out an entire life story about whatever it is you're talking to. Some people say, oh, it's a demon and it's pretending to be something. That gets quite generalized on the paranormal TV shows, and it's like, oh, there's a click, oh, it's a demon, oh, it's a ghost, oh, it's a light. And it's a TV show. You've got to take it lightly. It's meant to entertain, which is why most of the TV shows say this is for entertainment purposes only. What I do is for my own entertainment, but I am sort of looking for validation. I'm looking for responses. I'm looking for answers to questions in the sessions, which is why I went down the ITC route rather than the paranormal investigation, because ITC for me is more, you can go anywhere, you can sit down with a box, you can document what you've heard, transcribe it, video it, and let other people listen to it and see if you've heard what you've heard, really. So basically you've got to be respectful of what you're doing. Be respectful of the locations you go to. Don't break into places. Don't just rock up at places that you're not supposed to be and start bringing out ghost boxes and paranormal equipment and cameras and everything unless you've got permission to do so, if you need it. Document everything, whether you want to transcribe it, record it on an audio recorder, record it on your mobile phone, have multiple people recording it on phones, so then they can all hear the same thing. You can have a group session kind of thing. Record it and see if you can have a conversation between yourselves as well. Is that what I heard? Did you hear that? Validate everything. Don't just take a click as being a full sentence and say, oh, you said this, because it's not, it doesn't really make sense to do that. You want something tangible, you want something realistic to hear. And you see people transcribing things on the YouTube channels all the time, and it really doesn't say anything like what they've apparently heard. If you listen to the audio on it and then they'll put a transcription underneath of it saying what they think they heard it say, it really doesn't sound most of the time like anything like that. I've noticed on quite a few of the channels and paranormal TV shows that they tend to use boxes that sound very pre-programmed with audio. I'm going to go into later about apps and different things to use as way of apps and what I like to use with apps and how I use them with different boxes. Some of them are really good, some of them are just blatantly they say they're phonetic, but they're really not. They sound pre-programmed. If you're honest about it and you listen to it, a lot of it sounds pre-programmed and not really valid. Last one is stay objective, really. Avoid jumping to any conclusions. Not every sound you hear from a ghost box is going to be paranormal. it comes from a radio broadcast. Now, in the UK, we only have FM, really. We've not got anything on AM. So you're only going to hear radio broadcasts. You're going to hear little snippets of songs. You're going to hear music, audio tones. The faster the sweep, the faster it goes through the frequencies. But when we scan through the frequencies, we're only scanning one way. And as you gradually lead up to a stronger signal, you're still hearing the weaker part. You're still hearing the weaker part on the other end. You'll gradually get up to the strongest part, but you're still sweeping forward through it. So you'll hear maybe a partial sentence, or you'll hear like a block of audio. With this box and this box that I made, these randomly scan through the frequencies, so they don't scan forward through them like the SB7 and the Radio Shacks, the Hack Shacks. The SB7 can sweep forwards through the frequencies, and it can also sweep backwards through them, but in a straight line. This box, and I'll show you this box. This box is one of the ones that I created, and this one is the other one that I created. They scan through the frequencies, so you've got sort of like 76 megahertz up to 111, 112 megahertz FM, and it will go through randomly through different frequencies. It won't, I can change the speed of it and get very fast sweeps, or I can go through it slower. I can add echo to it, but I won't go through weak signal into strong, back into weak, and get a full sentence. I'll get choppy bits of it, which I think is a hell of a lot better. So whether you believe it or you're a skeptic, there's always an interest, a curiosity in the afterlife, shall we say, because that's basically what we associate ghost boxes with, because obviously ghost boxes. So I've described a bit about them for a start, and hopefully it's been of interest for you. I'd like to hear your comments. I'd like to hear about your experiences with ghost boxes or ITC or anything you're into as far as paranormal investigations. Just send a comment, and I'm hopefully going to grow this channel. I've got a long list of different things that I've done over the past decade with ghost boxes, and hopefully it'll be of interest to you. So this will all get cleared out. These are just a few of the ghost boxes that I've collected over the years. I've got quite a few different boxes, and yeah, so we're going to go into different things about ghost boxes and how I use them. So if you want to help me grow the channel, like, comment and subscribe, same as usual. And yeah, I'll bring the next episode up as soon as I can. So thanks for watching right till the very end. I hope you've got something out of this, and I shall see you next time. Thanks a lot.